I had this mini lamp sitting on a table in my entryway, got bored with it and put it away until I brought it out today. This is just one of the flips in this video. Stick around because I'm going to show you a new technique that you may not have seen before. I call it the bleached wood effect. I'm giving it 2 coats of chalk paint in the color celery and setting it aside to dry. We'll come back to that in a moment. Moving on to the shade, which is a stark white color. It doesn't have any dirt or dents in it, so it's lovely. It's a great surface to add some transfers to. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely ready for spring. I picked up this pack of rub-on transfers from Amazon, and I couldn't wait to use it on a spring project. This lampshade just seems like the ideal way to get started with these beautiful flowers. Moving back to the lamp base, I'm taking a 180 grit sandpaper very fine, and I start to sand off the top layer of the paint. And this is going to reveal that texture. So I want that silver peeking through. And then to tie the shade in with the base, I am just applying a little bit of trim to the top and bottom of the shade in this metallic silver ribbon. And here is the lamp lit up and displayed. She is so precious. And this is what the lamp looks like during the day without the light on. I'm so excited to hear what you think about this little cutie. What a transformation. Do any of you have this tray? I picked it up at the Dollar Tree last fall and had it on my kitchen counter for the entire fall, and if I'm being honest, Christmas season. I live in an older house and my cabinets hang lower than what you see in a more modern kitchen, so this was just the perfect height to sit there as a taller cutting board and decorative piece. But I really can't do too much more height than this, and it's hard to find something this size, so I'm going to flip it over to the opposite side and make it something I can display when it's not fall, the other 3 seasons of the year where I want something pretty that's not season specific. I start off by just removing the rope, the beads, all of the staples that hold it in place, and the tag, and then I'll just sand down those areas to make sure they're nice and smooth. I'm going to show you a painting technique with antiquing wax that I've tried on larger pieces of furniture and wood projects in the past, but never really showed it on the channel before. We're going to give it a wood look by starting off with white chalk paint again, and I'm just going to cover the entire board in 1 coat. It doesn't matter if you still have a little bit of the board showing through, we just need 1 coat. And then I printed this saying out on my Cricut. This is not a saying that I purchased from anyone else. I made this saying myself and just thought that it was something funny and cute for the kitchen. And the only reason I'm using yellow for this is because I tend to buy my vinyl in packs of 12 by 12 sheets on Amazon, and there are often colors that I'm just not going to use for another project, so I'll use them for something like this where it's more of a stencil. So I'm going to cover this entire board with the antiquing wax, and I'm going to make it very dark. So I'll do this just by applying it kind of haphazardly, and then I go through with my brush and try to get it all in one direction so it looks like a clean application. I let this antiquing wax dry overnight, and the next day I'm coming in with my weeding tool to remove the vinyl letters. And this is so pretty as is. You can stop here if you would like, but I want to make it look like this is wood on top of wood. So we're going to go in with another coat of our antiquing wax, but this time wiping it back. And I'm just going one word at a time so that I don't make a mess and drag the wax in areas I don't want it, namely my hand, arm, and anywhere else I typically would get it. And by the way, if you're new here, my name is Melissa. I love showing you these types of DIY projects as well as thrift flips. And I'd really like it if you subscribe to the channel. I try to bring you affordable projects that are both beautiful and easy to create. I'm using my misting bottle to remove excess if I don't get the look that I like. What you're witnessing here is a bleached wood effect, and it is simply beautiful when done. I want this to be a dual purpose, decorative and also functional. I added a clothespin and also covered that in Waverly wax so that I can use this for recipe cards in the kitchen. A little greenery, a new rope, and this project is done. Now in the final reveal pictures, it does look a little shiny, glossy, and that's just because the wax isn't entirely dry. When it dries, it'll have a beautiful, subtle sheen to it, and this is something you can keep on your counter or hang on the wall. Please comment below. Let me know if you like this bleached wood effect or if you would have left them just a plain bright white. Last year, I updated my bathroom to a country cottage look and wanted to update one of these final items here, which is this dingy box. This thing has held extra toilet paper and tissues for maybe a year or two, and the saying was cute on the front when I first bought it, but I want to update it and make it go with the rest of the bathroom. I'm using a combination of white and moss chalk paint to achieve a striped look on all four sides. This takes 2 coats. And when I take the tape off, there's just a few areas where I need to touch up the white paint. Off camera, I painted and added 2 cup handles to the sides. I painted them in a white metallic paint. The box needed a little something more, so I'm going to add a wood tag here covered in some scrapbook paper. I think this came in a pack from Hobby Lobby that I purchased last year, but it has the same color theme with the leaves. And just covering it on the top and around the edge as well with Mod Podge. And thinking that it needed a little more in the way of embellishments, I pulled this little shiny embellishment out of my stash, and then we're hot gluing it to the front of the box. The inside was painted in that same white chalk paint, and here is the completed project. I'm a little undecided about the turquoise charm that I put on the front of the box. I might pop that off. Let me know what you think, if this is something you think I should leave on or take off. It definitely pulls out the hint of blue in the leaves, but I think it might just be a little too flashy for the design. This little tray came from Michael's last year. It had a few propagation bottles inside, and I just remember removing the bottles to use for a different project. Didn't really know what to do with the tray, and it ended up here. And as you can see, it's quite dingy again, and I'm going to take just a second to clean it up, and then we'll get to work on it. Starting on the sides, I'll use lilac acrylic paint, and then on the inside, use metallic silver paint. I do end up changing the inside of the tray a little later in this project. To give that pink on the sides a little pizzazz, I'm going to brush over just a light coat of dragonfly glaze. This is made by Folk Art, and it really just kind of makes just regular acrylic paint, it makes it look like it's metallic. As you can see, it just gives it a really nice effect. Before I touched this tray, it had a brushed gold edge around the top, bottom, and handles, and thought it added a nice contrast. This is very shiny, and it's sort of like a rub and buff, only a bigger container. I try to use the sponge applicator, just wasn't that great for this project because it's such a small area. So I'm alternating between my finger and a paintbrush, and this was a much better application. I swear I must be the messiest crafter, and a lot of times I'm impatient, it doesn't help. I'll paint something, not let it dry, and then get paint on another surface, trying to repair it. And it's such a vicious cycle. Please tell me I'm not the only one. And then, of course, I have to change my mind, so I'm going into the center once again and paint the bottom, not the sides, just the bottom here with that same lilac paint. I just really thought it would look cute to have the bottom match the outside and then keep the sides of the interior a metallic silver. That's me. You're getting to know me. I'm a messy crafter who's constantly changing my mind about what I want to do. And here's the end result. Off camera, I added a rub-on transfer. I love these hydrangeas. I'll link them down below for you. I think with spring coming, these are definitely something I'll be crafting with. You get a lot of transfers for just a little bit of money. I thrifted this tall planter last summer and have been using it on the back patio just the way it is, and I was receiving compliments just the way that it is. It is absolutely beautiful. I knew I wanted to do something with it, but not quite sure what. And today I received a shipment of rice paper from my favorite Etsy store. I'll link her down below for you. And love these daylilies. They have yellow, orange, blue, and red colors in it, and I thought that it would be so cute on the front of this planter. I spend a few minutes working on careful placement and then clean up the edges. I find that if I don't use some sort of straight edge when cutting a straight line on a project, that my blade will slip and mess things up. So that's all I'm doing here is just using this ruler to ensure that I don't cut into my beautiful paper. Using burgundy acrylic paint, I'm just going to mark out the edges of each of these panels. I'm just lightly dabbing on here, just like you would if you were distressing, but wanted to tie in more of that burgundy color throughout. Here I'm using a paintbrush to dab and brush on antiquing wax to tone down the white edges of the paper. And here is the end result. Another fantastic flip. Wow, what a stunner. She is so beautiful, and I'm so excited to display this out back again this year. Have I told you that I'm crazy about you? I appreciate you so much for being here, for staying until the end, for your likes, your comments, your shares. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, consider doing that. And if you're not yet convinced that this is the channel for you, go ahead and click on this video and watch it next. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next time.